Remember that time people didn't care about the best Disney rides?
Today we are talking about the underrated rides of Disney World.
The unsung heroes of the Disney parks.
Because Disney World has a ton of underrated rides.
A ride is underrated when people aren't giving it its due.
But it's also a great quality ride, and it's something that I really enjoy. That's what makes me think it's underrated.
We're going to start with Carousel of Progress. Carousel of Progress is located in Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom, and it is actually an audio animatronic theater show that had been part of the 1964 World Fair.
Song, which can get stuck in your head many times.
There's a great, big, beautiful
Tomorrow, shining at the end of every day.
Best you're gonna get out of me.
It was written by the Sherman Brothers, who are very amazing songwriters. They did a lot for Disney. They did Mary Poppins.
I know what you're thinking. This isn't a ride. Well, guess what? It is. You know why? The whole theater rotates.
The audience rotates. Magic.
That's right. Not the show section, but the actual seating turns around in a circle, hence the Carousel
of Progress.
I think this attraction made it on this list because, like myself, it's not something people are really thinking about.
It's a longer show. You are going to be sitting there for a little bit of time, so a lot of kids are not going to be dying to go to Carousel of Progress.
Some people can find it a little bit boring, or if you're not a big Disney person, you'd have no idea about any of the history, you're not really going to care for it.
I definitely think it's underrated. I don't think you have to be like a Disney or history buff to enjoy it. Like, do I want to get on it every time I go to Magic Kingdom? No.
It's also older. I mean, it was built in the 60s. It moved to Disney World at some point in the 70s, and they haven't done much to it. Like this year, in the year of our Lord 2022, they just now updated the last scene.
I think the update is fine. I mean, I think the update should be more complete. I'm afraid that this is going to keep this scene going for another 20 years before an actual overhaul takes place.
And I like that they got some updated clothes, so they look a little more like at least present day rather than past.
Even though they've given the daughter a sweatshirt now and a ponytail, and she kind of looks like Taylor Swift, it's still really outdated and it's painfully obvious, and I love it.
I think this was a great way to freshen that scene up, even if it didn't completely bring it into the future.
I honestly don't know if I could add another scene to this ride, because you can't keep advancing. You can't keep saying the future, this is what's going to happen in the future, because time and time again we are proved wrong.
Can you imagine if there was, like, at the very beginning before the other ones, just a medieval surf scene? It was just like John and he was like, tally ho. When did I say medieval times?
We should look at probably not the too distant future for our next scene, where Jeff Bezos has taken over the world and we are all living in an Amazon-run world.
Hail, friends! Welcome to my family's humble cottage here in serfdom.
I absolutely agree that this is underrated. This is a must-do for me. I love it. It's also very much a childhood favorite. My mom loves it. We all ride it together. She would make us ride it when we were growing up and we hated it, and now as an adult I'm like, aha, Carousel of Progress, and I love it. I do think it's underrated. Unfortunately, I understand why.
Not enough people appreciate it. Too many people either skip it or they go there just to take a nap. I understand sometimes you need a nap, but do that at PhilharMagic. Don't do that at Carousel of Progress. I'm not going to tell you that you have to ride it and that it's underappreciated and it should be loved more, because I don't think so.
So Mission Space.
Mission Space is the ride that I do not like. I'm glad that it's underrated, okay? May it forever stay underrated.
Actually, in my opinion, it is the single most underrated attraction in all of Disney World. I know, I can hear you screaming in the comments and you haven't even started typing it. I know.
Mission Space is an attraction over at Epcot.
Mission Space is basically
It's a centrifuge.
with crazy amounts of,
and you get in these like little spaces that are pretty small and you're watching a simulation, and the whole thing spins really fast so that it simulates G-forces.
G-forces.
NASA and Disney Imagineers got together to create this, and it is as close to actual space flight liftoff included, very intense liftoff that you can experience without being an actual NASA astronaut.
It might make you sick. If you get motion sick on any sort of ride, you will probably get sick on Mission Space.
But in fairness, this exercise makes a lot of the astronauts sick as they're training, so it's just doing its job.
It's intense, which led them to need to open up another side of the ride that did not include centrifugal force, that just used the movement back and forth of your little space pod, and that's called the green mission.
On the green side, the G-forces are not as powerful. In fact, I feel like there are quite a lot less.
If I'm gonna ride Mission Space, I'm gonna ride orange. Like, I'm gonna go get on the ride that actually has some thrill to it and like simulates G-forces and makes my face go like this. As I go to Mars.
I've done orange once, and I don't really want to do it again. It was too much for me. And I don't even get motion sick on most rides.
And I'm not trying to get sick and throw up and be the response of a code V, because it would just be my luck that I would get on this attraction, get motion sickness, code V, and then they would open the thing and it would be like Michael Eisner, Bob Iger, Beyonce, and they would all be there looking and laughing at me. And that's my nightmare.
I am very lame. I am Team Green. And I should say, I'm not going on this regardless. Like, I'm saying I'm Team Green as if I've been on this anytime recently. I have not. This is not for me. I'm super duper claustrophobic. So even if I didn't have a fear of throwing up, which I do, I'm a really cool person. But yes, I have a phobia of throwing up and a phobia of small spaces. So basically this is like my Saw experience. I haven't seen that movie, but I know it's all about torture.
If they got rid of Mission Space, the ride that should take over, forget a ride. Let's just make a giant, fun, immersive laser tag experience themed off of Buzz Lightyear.
Like, not the shooter style game, but maybe something that kind of relates to the new Lightyear. Maybe you go on a mission with Buzz.
I wanted Lightyear to take off so that they could redo this ride with something like that. I just think that that would have been the ideal scenario.
I think it would be cool to put a Horizons indoor roller coaster where you ride through show scenes from the original Horizons ride. And of course, you know that I think they should do the same thing and put a family coaster over in the Imagination Pavilion and replace Journey into Imagination with Figment.
I would want to do like when Spider-Man and Tony Stark and everybody was in space and they were doing all their crazy stuff with Thanos. Like, give me a ride about that.
Fill the park with indoor story coasters. There's full of air conditioning and they are cool. I like them. Let's do it.
If you want to go and tire your kids out, I fully recommend taking the raft over and then just saying run.
Tom Sawyer's Island is actually a place in Magic Kingdom you might have never even heard of.
Ooh, this is a weird one.
Tom Sawyer's Island!
Let's get going. Tom Sawyer.
Oh wow, okay, yes, one of the many hidden gems of the Magic Kingdom.
Tom Sawyer's Island is that island that you see in both Frontierland and Liberty Square.
So when you're walking through Frontierland, you look to your right and there's that island off in the distance. You can actually go there and you can hang out there.
To get there, you have to take a wooden raft. It's powered by a motor, but it looks like it's just a wooden raft across the rivers of America.
They're not the fastest moving water vehicles you've ever been on, but they will get you there across the river to Tom Sawyer's Island. And once you're there, wow, you have some exploring to do.
And there's all these interactive play areas and caves you can explore, and there's a bridge that's made of barrels that you can run across, and there's all these calls back to Tom Sawyer, the Tom Sawyer story.
Did I read Tom Sawyer growing up? Yeah, I read it in middle school. Because of that, I barely remember anything about it.
Tom Sawyer and I have a past. I did plays, and I still do plays, but now I get paid for it. But back then I didn't.
I actually did not read The Adventures of Tom Sawyer when I was in school.
And I wanted to be Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn. And I auditioned and was not cast. So when the teacher said it was time to read Tom Sawyer, I said, no, how dare you?
I have never read The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. I haven't. I know the gist because I've seen the musical.
I was not cast in this production, and I will not give Tom Sawyer any of my extra time. The second he invests in me, I will invest in him. So no, I didn't read Tom Sawyer's Island.
Tom Sawyer's Island would be underrated because people don't know they should take the raft over there. And when I say they don't know they should, I say I don't know they should either.
Not a whole lot of things to do there, but it's a great place to take your kids if they need to burn off some energy and you just want to sit back and relax. That's a great spot to do it.
Yeah, that's what you do with kids. I assume that's how you get energy out, is you just say, run, return to me when you're tired, and then we will enjoy the day.
But I have to say, I went over to Tom Sawyer Island recently for a video, and I had so much fun exploring the island.
That's cool. I love a rope bridge. It smells like cave. This is scary. I think I'm on an adventure. Oh my gosh. There's a dude asleep in here. Oh my gosh. There's a rifle up here.
And I was alone. Getting to do that with my family, I bet, would be like super fun, or even like with friends.
If I were to replace Tom Sawyer Island with anything, everybody wants this rumor called Dark Castle or whatever it's called, where they basically build a 5th theme park and basically design the entire thing around villains. Make Tom Sawyer Island the place where all the villains roam.
My choice would be Robin Hood, like the Fox Robin Hood, because you could go over and it would be like Sherwood Forest.
Let that thing and make it a bayou. Put Mama Odie's house in there. Put fireflies, make a little firefly show.
We could have at least made a restaurant for Tiana that she obviously deserves.
It could even be a quick service walk-up. Like, it doesn't have to be this huge sit-down restaurant. And it could be so nice and beautiful, and I think that'd be fun. They would have to have more rafts, for sure.
I was shocked too when I discovered that it really is things about planet Earth.
Train Rafiki's Planet Watch is a literal method of transportation.
Locomotive to a petting zoo.
And I actually think that this might be my favorite on the list. Is that weird? Yeah, probably.
So in Animal Kingdom, there is a place called Rafiki's Planet Watch.
And I know what you're thinking. Rafiki gave up being the shaman of the Pride Lands, went to college to become an astronaut, and now created a center where, from the jungle, he watches planets like Mars and Jupiter. But that's actually not it.
That's where you can do the animation experience. They've got a petting zoo. That's where they operate on animals if they need to. And in order to get over there, you have to ride a train.
In this lovely little train ride, you get to see like behind the scenes backstage areas of Disney where they keep animals.
You see rhinoceri, is that how you say it? Rhinoceroses? You see the rhinoceros backstage enclave.
A lot of times some of like the elephants or the ostriches will be hanging out backstage, and you can kind of see them in their actual homes as opposed to out into the very like themed, designed areas of Kilimanjaro safaris.
And it toots, not like farts, but it goes toot toot, you know, like a train does.
It's like a free behind the scenes tour, which is why I do think this is a little bit underrated, is because people don't even know that you can do that.
When I'm at Rafiki's Planet Watch, I usually go and ask a cast member when their next presentation is, because from time to time, a cast member will come out and they'll bring an animal out with them and they'll do a little presentation. They'll tell you about the animal, they'll tell you about, you know, what it needs to live and survive and what they do to take care of it, and then they do a little Q&A with anybody who has questions about the specific animal.
My favorite thing to do at Rafiki's Planet Watch is definitely the art class. I think that is so fun. The first time I ever did it, like, I was so proud of my work and I never thought I'd be able to do it.
Then the animation experience is inside the building of Rafiki's Planet Watch, and that is where you can learn how to draw. You have an animator who is teaching a class, drawing on camera, it's projected up on screens, and you are able to copy what they are doing and bring home your own work of art that you've created.
I don't know if it's underrated or just rated.
I don't think it's not underrated. I mean, it is so, I will say it is very far pushed all the way in the back. Not a lot of people know about it. But again, for it to be underrated, I feel like it still needs to be good.
I do agree that this is underrated, actually. I think it's one of those that a lot of people, it shouldn't be a must-do necessarily, but it's something that I really enjoy when I do get to do it.
I do agree with this list. I actually ended up thinking that all of these things were underrated, surprisingly, even though like at first I wouldn't say that they necessarily were. The only other ride that I would maybe replace in here is Dinosaur.
Alien swirling saucers, and Living with the Land.
Living with the Land, completely underrated. Spaceship Earth, completely underrated.
Astro Orbiter, Living with the Land.
If I had to add a few to the list, I would say some of the Epcot rides like Grand Fiesta Tour, Living with the Land. Those are very fun rides. I feel like people will often skip, and honestly, I enjoy both those water rides.
I just gotta like look at me. I'm into it. Don't judge me. I just got back from vacation. Apparently I'm still in vacation mode. I'm a little matchy, but I'm here for it. So it feels like this feels like something Breedlove would wear. But now I am. Maybe Breedlove and I we're gonna shop we're shopping at the same stores now. We're shopping buddies. Sorry, off topic. Now go watch our episodes and rides that no one asked for. Bye.